Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Efrain Gonzalez and I'm a travel adventurer and an avid drone pilot. I do a lot of Camino videos. I did the Via Francigena, the Inca Trail, and many mountains in the world. Right now we're gonna focus on the new series on the Camino Portuguese. This is gonna be the first video of 12. We're gonna be going over the whole trip in stages. This is more like a planning video. I will be showing the hotels that you can find along the way, places to eat, and the sightseeing that you're gonna be exposed to when you're out there. I will be doing the coastal route. The most popular one is the central one, but I wanted to stay as close as possible to the beach. I wanted to get those shots of the Atlantic Ocean in mid-March. So the Camino Portuguese, you have different routes that you can do this. You can start in Lisboa, Porto, or all the way down here in Faro. The Camino that starts in Lisboa follows the center route. I started here in Porto, 12 days to get to Santiago. I will be staying as close as possible to the ocean. This is why I decided to go for the coastal route. But on top of that, I follow the litoral, which is pretty much the edge. I will be prioritizing the beach over going here like through the center of the towns. Weather permitting, of course. I was expecting rain, but I got really lucky that I only got a small drizzle in one morning. I didn't have rain, but I did have a wind to deal with. Let's go over today's stage. As you can see, with the help of Relive, I tracked my entire trip. This was very helpful. Came out of Porto. Most people tell you to avoid this section, and I think it's a big mistake because you have pretty nice places to see like lighthouses and fort. You cross over the bridge into Leca de Palmeira, and then you walk by the refinery, the oil refinery, but you're on a wooden plank that is very nice. You have many places to stop, and along the way, today was a 16.4 mile or 26 kilometer day from Porto to Labruge. I normally walk about 5 kilometers an hour, but this one, there were so many things to see and do that it took me 8 hours to do the entire trip when I should have done it in 5. But, no complaints on this side. Let me show you the coordinates that I will be following. The blue one is the central route that passes through Porto. The red one is the coastal route, and the white one is the litoral. All the yellow ones here are variants that you can take to jump from one to the other. My plan was to follow the litoral, and in case of bad weather up to this point I could actually just jump over to the central one and avoid the wind or the rain in that case. But like I said before, I got very lucky. Let's go over the equipment that I was carrying with me. I had about 25 pounds worth of gear in total, including my clothes, and I say about half of that was just camera gear. I know you don't have to carry all this equipment, but it's something that I'm used to doing it. I always film all my adventures. And when I did this, I had just gotten back from doing the Via Francigena from Canterbury down to Rome, 85 days. And there I was carrying even more so. I had the help of a trolley that I didn't have here. Why? I could have used it on the Portuguese since it's flat the entire thing. But I was doing 3 Caminos back to back. I was doing the coastal Portuguese, I was doing the Norte in the mountains, and there I didn't want to have the trolley. I was also doing the Camino Inglés, and just at the end I was doing Muxia to Fisterra. That's what we have ahead of ourselves right now. So what kind of gear was I carrying? I had my Canon M50 camera that I bought in France after my 5D Mark IV got wet and died on me. I bought this in Besançon. I was using that camera just to get beauty shots, not actually vlogging. I used it a couple of times, but it was mainly for pictures and for beauty shots. My main camera for vlogging was the DJI Osmo Pocket. I mean, just look how small this is, and it was so stable. It could actually lock onto my face. As I was walking, I had a selfie stick, and I could see the video playing here. I dropped it and cracked the lens protector in the first few days, but it held out for the entire trip, not just this one, but the Norte, the Inglés, and the Muxia to Fisterra one too. So very nice, highly recommended. I also got some shots of me walking, anything that I needed that was moving and I wanted it to be stable, I used that, or I used the drone. This here is a drone that you guys are gonna be seeing. The amazing shots, they all came from here, is the DJI Mavic Air. very portable. You can actually fold it, and people would think that I was carrying my headphones when I have them hanging from my belt. The next camera, and this is one that I get asked a lot of questions, is that overview shot that you see me walking, and it kind of feels like the drone is like right next to me and is following me throughout. But it is actually a 360 camera. It is the Insta360 One X. I had also this on a stick, on the selfie stick, and the great thing about it is that it erases the stick, so it kind of looks like a floating camera. I'm not done yet. I also have my cell phone. I use this very rarely, just when I would need to just get a shot and any of the other cameras were not accessible. And the last one is the Views XR. This is a 3D camera. Look at that, 2 eyes. The only way that you can see it is in VR TV. I have an account there. If you have goggles like the Quest, you can see all my 3D and 360 pictures. I'll drop a link below to that, and to also to all the gear. Forgot, I also had this small light, portable light, LED. This is at the weakest setting, and I will just use this at night when I needed to vlog. I will hold it with one hand and the camera with the other. Sound-wise, this is kind of turning into like a gear video. I was carrying a portable field recorder. I wanted to record everything in stereo, and I had 2 lavaliers, so I had in total 4 mics running at the same time. Thank God that I brought 2 lavaliers, because one of them got wet and I lost it, so I had a backup. Keep that in mind. So yeah, we're done with that. Let's go over what we came here for. Let's go over day 1 on the Camino Portuguese. This is today's stage. I know there's a lot of icons here. I have all the hotels, all the places where I stop, and I also have a few timestamps just so that you get an idea how long I was progressing along the day. I put up a bunch of hotels, links here to hotels and hostels. These are all pilgrim friendly in a way, but you're in Porto, you can stay in 1,000 hotels that they have here. You can find all this information in my website at efraingonzalez.com. You can download this GPS tracks, so if you want to use them as you're walking, you're more than welcome to. Even though the path is well marked, as all the caminos are, I still rely on my cell phone and my GPS tracks, because I just wanted to know how far in the day I was, what was up ahead. And also, check this out. The map is in 3D. You can get a bird's eye view of the stage, of where you are, of what's coming up ahead. So this to me is invaluable resource that I used for the first time on the Via Francigena, and then I started using it ever since. I stayed for a couple of days at an albergue that was a little bit out from the center of town, about half an hour's walk. Why did I choose this albergue? Because it is right next to the metro station. I took a flight from Miami to Madrid, and then Madrid to Porto. Took the metro rail that left me at a station like a couple of blocks from the albergue. Here's a station. So stay there for a couple of days, and then it was the big day. Day 1, woke up at 5:30, left the albergue at 6:45, and I headed out. Here's a little chapel that's just right outside the door. So right after I left the albergue, I had my first choice to make. I could either go in the central route, the coastal route, or just head down to the river. Porto is a very hilly city, and you have to come all the way down to the water's edge right here. I got an amazing drone shot of this bridge. The sky was clear, the light was perfect, and the day had only started. Follow this road, got some nice drone shots, and it took me almost an hour. As you can see, it's 8 o'clock here. It took me almost an hour to get to the actual Atlantic Ocean. By the time I got to the lighthouse, I was just completely blown away. The ocean, the waves were just crashing into the levee. I could only get so far before the waves were going over the levee, and I would have gotten drenched completely. But I got so many drone shots here that I almost wasted an entire battery. It was well worth it, and my eyes were locked in this direction, and I completely missed this fortress right here, this castillo. Would have been nice to get a couple of shots of that, but it happened. After I got all my shots, I decided to start following the beach. It was a little bit breezy, but not too bad. The temperature was nice and cold. which is ideal for walking. And after walking through the heat wave in France, I was so glad that I had good temperature to walk on the first day. There are a few apartments here and hotels that are listed for you guys in Foz do Rao. This is if you want to stay here away from Porto. Might be a little bit cheaper. And then I made it down here almost at 10 a.m. to another fort. Got some drone shots from this side over here. There were surfers here. The waves were crashing. I got the fort. I mean, I was just in heaven. A lot of cyclists and people jogging in this area. This is where I started vlogging with Insta360 for the first time. I want to try it out instead of vlogging with a medium shot that you guys are used to seeing. I wanted to see my surroundings. Is that shot right there playing behind me right now? Pretty cool looking, right? People were looking at me like, what is this guy doing? Matosinhos Beach, man. This is a very nice modern looking beach. It has some great artwork, and this is a place where a lot of pilgrims decide to start their pilgrimage. This is where I started seeing some signage right here by the artwork. This is a place where I saw my first yellow arrow. And right after that, I made it to a garden, Senhor do Padrao, right before entering the port, the industrial section. Had to walk by the road, a lot of traffic in this area, and I decided to stop for a little coffee. It was almost noon, 11 o'clock in the morning, so I wanted to take a little break. So made it here to the bridge. This is the metro station that most people get off if they want to avoid this entire section that I just showed you. I mean, what do you think? You want to skip ahead and miss this? I wouldn't recommend it. It was 11:09. I got on the bridge. There's a pathway here. The bridge was up. There was a boat crossing, and I got a chance there to talk to my wife and son while I was waiting. Crossed over Ponte Móvel, leaving Matosinhos Beach behind, and I made it to Leca de Palmeira. Leca de Palmeira is like a beach community here, a little bit more secluded, away from the buzzing and huffing of Porto. I got a stamp here, the tourist office, at the request of a local. He saw me walking and he was like, oh, you had to go there. And I did. Got my first stamp of the day at the tourist office, and then headed back out to the beach. As you can see here, these are natural pools. People go here swimming. I will come across a few of them along the way. Made it to the lighthouse. This is one of Portugal's tallest lighthouse at 46 meters tall. It's from 1926 and it's called the Boa Nova Lighthouse. Right next to it, there's some artwork. I stopped here for lunch break at 11:53. This is where two pilgrims that I met along the way came, saw me, approached me. We had a little conversation. I will get to see them a few more times along the way, and they did stay today in the same albergue as I did. After having leftovers for for lunch, I came to this little chapel. By the way, here's a restaurant, the Boa Nova Chapel from 1392, dedicated to Saint Clement Cliff. There's a stone marker right here, I guess for navigation purposes, for naval navigation. Got some very nice shots here. I couldn't fly the drone because I was very close to the airport already, but I did use the Insta360 to get a very nice looking shot. Up ahead, what is this over here? That is an oil refinery, my friends. This is another industrial section that I will get to walk by today, but it wasn't too bad because my eyes were away from it. I was constantly looking to my left at the ocean. This is where I started walking for the first time in the wooden walkway. It keeps you walking on the beach and you're not walking on the sand and you're not walking on the road either. So it's the best case scenario. Gotta tell you, it was very, very windy in this whole section. At one point I had to get away from the beach and go through the suburbs just to escape from the wind. It was also getting very cold. I guess it was the wind chill factor. So a few pilgrims sporadically every now and then. It is day one, so you know that on day one you don't talk to all the pilgrims. That comes farther ahead. You just see each other and you're like, hi, how are you? And then as you start seeing them more often, then all of a sudden you become a family. How crazy is that? There are plenty of little hotels and little shacks here where you can stop for refreshments and lunch. They're all facing the coast, so you get a very nice view. Bed and breakfast and hotels. If you want to do the sections, shorter sections, if you want to play with the stages, you have plenty of places to stay. What is this over here? 118, and I got to a monument, Memoria Obelisque, where King Pedro IV, he got here with 7,500 of his troops in the 1800s, and this is where the year-long siege of Porto started. He overthrew a very nasty regime. So yeah, left the monument behind, and they started to get very, very windy. I was 2 hours away from the albergue, and I had no other choice but to brace the wind. As you can see, it was on and off between the walkway and walking through the little villages. This is where I stopped for a snack. They had a very nice looking marker, a playful dog. I had a soda with a very nice view. I don't know if I was hungry or I just wanted to get away from the element, but I took a very nice break here. This is where I decided, you know, I had enough of the wind. I should have taken this pathway over here, but I went inland through the suburbs, trying to escape. The gusts of winds were getting very strong. Got to Aligeira by 234. This is our variant or an alternative route that connects the coastal route and the litoral. It goes by the airport, so if you land here at the airport and you decide, you know what, I'm just gonna start walking right now, you take that variant and it takes you to the coast. This fishing village here, man, gotta tell you that it was so colorful. You had all the boats on the sand. It was just something special. I remember seeing a ton of pictures of this place on Facebook and on people's vlog, and by the time I got here, decided to bring out my 360 camera, my 3D camera, and I was just taking pictures everywhere. You can see some of those pictures in my website. If you go to the link below, it takes you to today's episode. I'm also posting there the stamps that I was getting along the way and a breakdown of all the costs and all of the accommodations. Headed back out, I was actually walking on the road here for the last stretch. Went over this bridge. It was 3 p.m. So you can see the tide here was down just like when I passed by. Finally made it to Labruge. There are two very nice restaurants here where you can have dinner at sunset, but they were a little bit out of my budget. The actual albergue is about 1 kilometer inland and you have to go up a little bit. There's a guest house. There's also like a supermarket around here and a couple of bars. Here's the albergue. Got there at 3:17. I just love how this looks in 3D. Not as close as flying the drone, but you know, you get the idea. Got here at 3:17. There were all the pilgrims already there. I got my stamp. I took a shower. The water was cold at the beginning, and I thought I may actually have to skip it because it was cold outside, and I did the laundry. My hands were frozen. But when the Hospitalero showed up, he turned on the heater, and everybody took their shower. There were about 10 pilgrims staying here. It was one massive open dorm room. Most of the pilgrims that I encountered in the Camino Portuguese were Germans, 70% I will say, and the other ones were a mixture of Italians, Portuguese people, Brazilian peoples, and a few Spaniards. But for the majority were Germans. I don't know why. At 7 p.m. I decided to head back to the beach so I could see my first sunset in Portugal. It was very nice. Got to enjoy the sunset. It was very, very windy and cold. And as soon as that sun went down, headed back out and I went to Ruben's restaurant where I decided to have dinner. Did not have pizza, but instead I had some seafood. I mean, Portugal is very famous for their seafood and I could just not skip it, you know. I wanted to have as much seafood as I could in this trip, and today was the first day where I had a marisco feast. Some red wine, coffee, you know the drill. And then I just headed back out to the albergue and I went to sleep. And guys, that was a very long video, I might say, for this series, but I had to explain a lot of things. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe, of course. And I'll see you on day 2, the next video. See you tomorrow.